What's good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Hastags dropping some hot frogga on this mic. Today I want to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and if this game is actually good. Now, the Sonic community is notable for changing opinions all the time. This isn't the first time or the last time it'll happen. Many different generations of people are within the community, so this is expected. We grew up with different games. Many of the tastes and the things we like about Sonic the Hedgehog are different because it's such a, versatile franchise, so that's to be expected. But many people are looking back at Sonic 1 and saying, this game wasn't good, which there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, it feels so sudden, but this isn't the first time this has happened. The game this has most notably happened to is Sonic Heroes, and it changes every 3 to 4 years, and the same thing has recently happened to Sonic Colors. And I will say this, it's more common with 3D games due to how different each one is. But recently, I've heard murmurs of people downplaying the quality of Sonic 1, even going as far as to say that it's a bad game. Now, with that being said, I'm going to kind of break down the arguments or the reasons why people think Sonic 1 is bad, and I'm going to give you my take on it. Also, we're almost at 5,000 subscribers, so if you could hit that subscribe button, it'd be highly appreciated. So, the first major aspect people harp on Sonic 1 for is the level design, and that's because it is admittedly a lot different than what comes after it, even directly after it. There's a lot more slow sections in each stage, and while stages will have slopes, a lot of the time they're followed by a slow section, so you'll have a fast section, a slow section, and a fast section. Sometimes you have to wait on things to happen within the level for you to progress, and the layouts are a lot different than, later stages in the series. There's a lot less emphasis on horizontal movement and a lot more verticality within each stage. The only other game in the series that I can think of that's like this is Sonic CD, but in that game's case it was almost to a detriment, as I feel like in Sonic 1 it feels like any other platformer. And on top of that, because we have this verticality, a lot of people try to add on that it's a lot harder to determine what routes are the high routes and the low routes that you can take, because the Sonic the Hedgehog series is notable for having low routes and high routes, and each one having their benefits and their drawbacks. And then the next thing people actually like to harp on Sonic 1 for is its game length and difficulty. Many people have gotten the idea that the game is too short. And the game takes roughly 2 hours or so to beat, so in that regard, it is a short game. It only has 6 stages, which many Sonic games after this have far more than that. And then on top of that, the game is just not easy for newcomers. So a lot of people look at the game as being difficult. Speed is your reward for playing well, whereas death is the immediate punishment for essentially doing badly, in many cases. But is everything that I said true about Sonic 1? Is it really this just horrible game that has, slow, bad level design? The game is too short for its own good, and it's just too difficult for people to get into. And it's only half true. Well, I think all of these things are true. They're true within a bubble, if that makes sense. So let's start with level design. So is the level design actually bad? No, it isn't. The only stage where I can think that's actually true is Labyrinth Zone, and that's one of the 6 stages. So why do these stages get such a bad rep? Well, later Sonic games were more about cementing Sonic as the de facto for fast-paced gameplay. That's just how it was. No one was really at the same speed as Sonic, and still to this day, there are not many platformers that get to that level. And what many of these future Sonic games do is have set pieces that facilitate the player going fast, whether it's for reward or not. Sonic 1 is all about rewarding the player with speed for playing well and knowing where they're going and knowing that stage layout super well. The more I've played Sonic 1 over the years, I've realized this. Many of the slow sections you can actually get through pretty fast, to be honest. And I will give people this, Sonic 1 does have an issue of having slow sections where you're just wait, but many of the slow sections people have issue with where you come to a complete stop or anything like that, it's usually because it's the player fault, usually. Most of the time, these sections can be easily avoided in terms of you slowing down, whether that be by spin dashing or spin rolling, if you're playing it in its traditional form or in a form without the spin dash, or jumping at, the right moment. I kind of find it ridiculous that people say they want speed as a reward, but then they don't. They just want it handed to them. And I'm going to keep it real. I don't think slower sections in a Sonic game is inherently bad. I just hate anything where I have to wait. And I think that's the issue with Sonic 1. It does have sections where you have to wait, and that's what makes people upset more than anything else. But there are not a ton of them. So can you really fault the game, or can you fault the player? A lot of people also don't like the, less forward approach to level design, which makes no sense to me. Especially for people who want experimentation, exploration. These are things you should want. And this is coming from someone who does not like it when a game does not let me know where I'm going. I feel like Sonic 1 does it in the right way, where you can progress through the game or through the stage, but if you want higher or better routes or better times or whatever, you have to learn the game. You have to experiment. And I think Sonic 1 facilitates that kind of gameplay style and replayability, because the game, in all honesty, lays out which path is the lower one usually and which one is the higher one quite plainly. It's usually just not an immediate answer of how you get to that higher or lower path. And this is kind of frustrating when people talk about the game being short, but so many games of this genre and just of the time were that short. I mean, for reference, Sonic 1 is about 2 hours long. So let's look at some other games that came out after Sonic 1. Mega Man 5 is about 3 hours. Sonic 2 is about 3 hours. Donkey Kong Country is about 4 hours. Kirby Superstar is about 3 hours. And Earthworm Jim is about 3. And all of these games came after Sonic the Hedgehog 1. And considering this was the first Sonic game, I think it's kind of ridiculous to get mad that the game is too short in an era where, game manufacturers were trying to find a way to bring the arcade to the household. And then moving forward, while the difficulty is the most subjective topic here, if it is hard to you, then I don't really think you should be playing video games. And I'm not saying that, if you think the game is difficult, you shouldn't be playing video games. That's not the point I'm trying to make. But if this game is so hard that you think it is a detriment to the game and to your experience of the game, I just don't think you've experienced hard video games. There are much more taxing and brutal series out there. I mean, I've already named the Mega Man, and that's one of the hardest platforming series, period. You want to talk about frustration? Play Mega Man. Play Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just about any of them, and you'll get that grueling, intense, difficult experience, which was reminiscent of many games of this time for one reason or another. And in all honesty, I don't think Sonic was that egregious in it. Yes, there are some difficult moments in Sonic the Hedgehog 1, don't get me wrong, but outside of Labyrinth Zone, there aren't any that I think exist within the game that make me pull out my hair. So, in conclusion, is Sonic 1 flawed? Yes, it has some issues. Labyrinth Zone. Sometimes the level design abruptly stops the player and makes the player wait to do the thing that they were already going to do. And on top of that, it's a bit short, but these aren't anything game breaking. Nothing hinders the overall experience so much that I can sit here and call it a bad game. And on top of that, it was the first game in the series. The game does have first game syndrome, but I don't think Sonic 1 has first game syndrome as bad as many other game franchises, and even within the same franchise, I don't think it has first game syndrome as bad as something like Sonic Adventure 1, which I think in comparison to Sonic, 1, Sonic Adventure has aged a lot worse. Now that's because it's a 3D game, and 3D games are a lot harder to make, so you're more likely to make flaws with that game, whereas Sonic 1 is 2D. It's a lot easier to make in that regard. And I talked about this in my video talking about what the true problem with the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise is, and really it's just that balance of having speed, gameplay, difficulty, all these things. And I think for what Sonic 1 was, it captured all of these pretty decently. While it may not have mastered it like something like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I think it did a really good job at giving players that taste and that experience of having a really fast platformer that rewards you with more speed and punishes the player for not having skill. But I don't know, how do you feel about this in that comment section down below? And this is just something that I've been seeing tossed around on Twitter. I've been looking to see if people actually think this, and there's a surprising amount of people who do. And this kind of goes back to that subject of, has Sonic the Hedgehog actually ever really been good? I think the answer is obvious, yes, but with the reputation of not only just the Sonic franchise, but of the Sonic community, it's hard to see these things considering that the flops in the Sonic franchise are so massive. And the community at many times can be very, 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 very vitriolic towards people who are outside of it. But I don't know. Again, tell me how you feel in that comment section down below. This has been your man, Hastags. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video out with your friends. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're almost to 5,000 subscribers. I'd highly appreciate it. And follow your boy on Twitter. We're almost at 300 followers, or we might be at 300 followers. It depends on who decides to unfollow me or who Twitter decides to delete from my follower list. But again, we're out of here. Peace. Kiss, kiss.